Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So here I am in a temporary location, and I thought I could squeeze off one video before I fly out tomorrow. And yeah, it's another special video. They're coming fast and furious now. This is my third Impossible Max Luck, Bishamonten. And yeah, this was a fun quest for me to play, and I love playing with the character. There was a poll some time ago on the forums asking what is your favorite impossible monster. And I was like, oh, do you mean the quest or do you mean the character? But then I realized that kind of my answer to both was Bishamonten. So yeah, this one's very special to me. Alrighty, so first let's look at the stats. We see that she is a balance type, and then her stats are pretty on par with drop monsters. They're not crazy like limited edition Hatcher monsters or like Izanami or stuff. So yeah, there's nothing, there are no weaknesses in her stats. But if we look at all the rest of her, that kind of explains why her stats are not crazy. It's because the rest of her is crazy. She's got the double null ability, no warp and no gravity barrier. And she was the first, I think, to get this combination with being a Pierce. Now we have Kamui and Dakki and Melonhead as well. But yeah, Bishamonten, we got her before anyone, so yeah, she's in a very kind of a, what do you call it? Very select group of monsters. And then she's got a 30-turn Meteor Strike Shot, which is probably the most similar to Lorelai's Strike Shot, although Bishamonten's is more powerful. But they do have that same amount of ability to put enemies to sleep, and that is maybe 10% of the time it'll put enemies to sleep, and that will last for a couple turns, so yeah, pretty good there. And then, so yeah, up to now, all of these things make her a top-class monster, I would say. But then we come to her bump combo, which is the tag laser. And this is the most powerful laser in the game. But it's a little tricky to use, because depending on which direction you hit Bishamonten from, that's where the laser goes. And you can think of it as like a rebound laser that does not rebound. So if you're used to using Izanami's bump combo, then you can kind of use Bishamonten's bump combo in the same way. And then, let's see what else I got to say here. Yeah, it does take practice to get a good use out of the bump combo here. But I have put in the practice and I feel I'm pretty good at it. And it's a lot of fun to use. And it does do great damage, especially against fire bosses. And then in order to get the most out of her, you want to use other Pierce types, just because it's easier to get to Bishamonten. And then ideally somebody with a blast bump combo, because that way Bishamonten can just aim for, ideally, the boss's weak point, hit a blast bump combo guy on the way, and then get that laser out. And yeah, and so kind of her best partners are Napoleon, Evolution. She is a Pierce with blast bump combo, and then she also has no gravity barrier, so she can go to similar quests to Bishamonten. Another drop monster would be the Ghoulie Ascension, another Pierce, no gravity barrier with blast bump. And then you could use Sky Armor, the evolution form. He also has no warp, no gravity barrier, and a blast bump combo. So they can go to the exact same missions and then help each other out. Maybe one of these days I will do a video just where I use Bishamonten's tag laser. Just because there are some tricks that you can use to make her more effective. And then, as far as quests that she is good for, she does not have great impossible viability. Really only Izanami and Izanagi. But Bishamonten was super helpful for me in making my Izanami max luck. I mentioned this in my Impossible Monsters ranking video. But you can use Bishamonten to, raise Izanami's luck. And then you can use Izanami to raise Kushinada's luck, and you can use Kushinada to raise Bishamonten's luck. So yeah, she's part of that very helpful cycle. But She's also very, very good for light and dark Muramasa and Murasame, I would say. You need Gravity Barrier for those quests, and then for Muramasa especially, you need Pierce types. And then Meteors are also a great help for those quests. So yeah, Bishamonten's going to be my one of my main max lux for those quests from now on. And then if you're interested in doing taking drop monsters to the Tower of Champions, Bishamonten will be good for 27, 30, and 35. And yeah, she's really good for all of those. Especially 30 and 35, I like to bring Meteor Strike shots. So again, that's another good reason to bring Bishamonten. Okay, now, oh, maybe I should finish my max luck first. Let's do that. Alright, here we go. 99 Bishamontens. Okay, the screen's normal. And there we go, yay. Alright, we'll take a photo of that. Alright, and then now that I have the max luck of Bishamonten, we'll look at other max lucks that I have that will be kind of obsolete. Although they won't be as obsoleted as other monsters were when I made my last two impossible max lucks, and I'll explain that as well. So here's Ignite Royal. He's got Pierce and Null Warp, and up to now he was the only Pierce Null Warp drop monster. But with Bishamonten, don't need to worry about using this guy anymore. This guy could be good for Scorpion quests or Zombie Loop quests, because he has a very strong bump combo. Alrighty. And then also obsoleted will be, unfortunately, Marie Antoinette. This is one of my most favorite max lucks ever. But actually, this evolution form is kind of like a mini Bishamonten. Pierce, no gravity barrier, with a Meteor Strike shot. Yeah, Marie Antoinette did great work for me, but I think I'm going to be using Bishamonten from now on. And then this goes for both versions of Marie Antoinette. They're both good. The Ascension has Fiend Slayer, I believe. But even in Fiend quests, I think I'd prefer to use Bishamonten. Okay, another guy obsoleted is Dax Evolution. Pierce, no gravity barrier. He does have a blast type, which could be useful. So there will be certain times where I do want to use Dax. And then the last one is, I mentioned him before, but Melonhead. The same, you know, double ability, no warp, no gravity barrier with a Pierce. But yeah, Bishamonten's gonna, you know, obsolete this guy. Except for fire quests. So if I need a good monster for fire quests, this guy might be the one. Alrighty. And then I did say that these guys would be obsoleted, but they won't be as obsoleted as other monsters, because when you play with Bishamonten, you kind of need to build around her. And building around her, you want to use those type of monsters that I mentioned before, which are, you know, Pierce, and then with Blast Bump combos. And so these other guys, they are all Pierce, Ignite Royal, and then Melonhead, Marie Antoinette, and Dax. And so they'd be very good partners with Bishamonten. And so yeah, if I didn't have Napoleon, for example, I could use Dax Evolution, and then get that same benefit of helping out Bishamonten. So yeah, maybe when I am working with a Bishamonten centered team, then I'd use those guys. So that's pretty cool, actually. Okay. And then to talk about how long this one took, this one came out late January. It's early October now, so a little bit less than 9 months. And yeah, just kept plugging away at her little by little. And then the team that I used was pretty consistent from beginning to end. And I can show you that. Alright, so you want 2 bounces and 2 pierces for Bishamonten. And then in the max luck slots, really the only extreme drop monster is Jiraiya Evolution here. And then the reason why he is the one is because his attack is high enough that he can one-punch the anti-pierce guys. So yeah, I used him from beginning to end. He's got really good stats, And then he's got a bump combo, which I figured out how to get the most out of through using him in Bishamonten. And the ideal time to use it is when the boss is in a corner, and then you know, fire Jiraiya into that corner so that he bounces in here, and then he gets stuck and gets really big. And yeah, that used to take away like 1.5 million damage. But then Jiraiya got the buff where he got the critical luck skill. And so almost every time I would do that strike shot into the corner, there would be a critical hit, and then I'd be doing 2 million or more damage with that. So yeah, he was pretty great there. And then the Pierce max luck monster I used the whole time, it was Gigamantis. He's got a little bit low stats, but he's kind of the only option, so I just went with it. And then, yeah, he too can cross that one punch line. And then he's got a meteor strike shot, which is not super necessary since you one punch the little guys anyway. But it can do extra damage on the boss, so that's, you know, every little bit helps. And his laser is decently strong. That got me through many, many stages, I'm sure. Alright. And then as for the Hatcher monsters that I used, in the beginning I used Yggdrasil Ascension as my Hatcher Pierce type, and she's got really good stats, and then Blast Bump combo to get out more bump combos, and then also a Meteor Strike shot. And so yeah, having 2 Meteor Strike shots was really helpful for me, especially in the zombie loops when I just, you know, wasn't making it work. And then the bounce type, I don't think I have on this device. No, let's see if I have it in my Monsterpedia. Let's see, green null damage wall. There he is. Yeah, this was Deneb Evolution. And he's great. He's got Fiend Slayer and then a null damage wall. And yeah, Fiend, that works on the boss of Bishamonten. And so that goes into his bump combo as well. And then he has a strike shot where he becomes a Pierce type. And this was usually my finisher on the last stage. Does lots and lots of damage. But if you're in a pinch, somehow, and it's Deneb's turn, and there are only anti-bounce types, you can change him to Pierce, and then clear the stage. So yeah, that was my original team, was Yggdrasil and Deneb. But then, once I got a Bias Kin Strength berry on Mustang... Let's see, there she is. Once I got a Bias Kin Strength berry on Mustang, then I was able to use Kushinada. I mean, you can always use Kushinada, but Kushinada, as her attack is now, she cannot one-punch the anti-Pierce guys. But since Mustang is a speed type and Kushinada is a speed type, with a Bias Kin Strength berry of S class or better, we can raise Kushinada's attack high enough that she can one-punch the anti-Pierce guys. And so yeah, once I did that, my team was Jiraiya, Gigamantis, Mustang, and Kushinada. And that went really well. Mustang's got the speed up, of course, and then Kushinada's got the crazy strike shot and the crazy bump combo. So that made it pretty smooth towards the end. And yeah, those were basically my only 2 teams that I ever used to make the max luck of Bishamonten. Okay, and I think that will do it for my talk of... Oops. I think that will do it for my talk of the making the max luck of Bishamonten. And I hope that was helpful. I have other videos showing how to get through her mission. And yeah, good luck getting your first one. Good luck making your max luck of it. Thanks for watching. Take care.